All right, week two's in the books, and I've got some thoughts. All right, this one surprised me. It did, and not because of the score. Bombers win 34-20 over the BC Lions. No, it surprised me because of who was starting. To be honest with you, if you listen to the podcast, I picked Winnipeg to cover the spread. Was not really convinced that Winnipeg was going to win this game, but I really should have. Because this team, this organization, has gone to 5 straight Grey Cups. They might be doing something right in there in Winnipeg. So a victory over a team that is kind of there, not really surprised. A couple of weeks ago, I did a video about how Chris Streveler is probably one of the most underrated quarterbacks that we've seen in this time. And I said in that video that, yeah, he's not going to be QB1 material, and nobody's expecting him to be. But the guy was sitting at 60%, 65% completion percentage. I don't have the outline numbers there, but 254 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Now, a lot of people are going to be saying, okay, well, he should have had probably 2 or 3. Yeah, and he probably should have had maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns. Look, a backup quarterback and a backup running back ran over and threw over the BC Lions defense, which begs the question, how bad the Edmonton Elks might be. I think lost in all this is the fact that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers had touchdown drives that spanned just over 100 yards. One that went for 108. That's impressive. I'm definitely looking forward to the rematch that's coming up on Saturday for week 3, and I hope to God that the injuries that both teams suffered, Brady Oliveira and Nathan Rourke, aren't long-term. Oblique injuries are a bitch to deal with, so I hope that if he is left out in this coming week, that it's for precautionary reasons. The league needs these 2 guys. Notwithstanding for the fact that one of them is a reigning MOP, but the other guy's the face of the league. You need them. Second game is the Montreal Alouettes defeated the Ottawa Redblacks 39-18, and this went exactly how I expected it to be. The fact that Drew Brown wasn't in this game means that Ottawa wasn't going to be in it. They weren't even going to be close, and I think a lot of us actually slept on Montreal this week. Heck, I think I've slept on them like this year. But Drew Brown MOP season is still upon us, and Ottawa needs Drew Brown MOP to win. Because right now, no spoilers, but Ottawa is 0 so far in 2 weeks in the CFL season. Not taking anything away from Montreal's defense, but Matthew Schultz has been in the league since 2017, and it shows why he's never been given the keys to the car of a franchise. Montreal, Hamilton, Calgary, and now Ottawa have all thought that, hey, this potential, he's already hitting it right now. It's a good quarterback, a good backup quarterback, but I think there's been a lot of hype over him that I just could not see. At this rate, I'd have to take a look at the schedule, but it could be a while before Montreal loses a game. Davis Alexander, as much as he's showing that he isn't, potentially one of the greatest quarterbacks, this year, has shown that he's not going to be bothered by anything. He's showing a lot of poise this year. Montreal is going to be a very extremely dangerous group going into November. All right, who had Calgary being 2-0 in this season? Put your hands down. Nobody's buying. The Calgary Stampeders are 2-0, and I don't think anybody saw this coming. Yeah, it was the Hamilton Tiger Cats and now the Toronto Argonauts without Chad Kelly. Toronto's got a very sneaky defense, and although his outlying numbers in Calgary aren't exactly phenomenal and they're not outstanding, Vernon Adams Jr. is really getting the job done, getting the ball in his playmakers without Reggie Begelton for the majority of that game. Toronto's defense is very stingy, so to be able to put up 29 points with the help of a couple of picks is still phenomenal with Calgary. I don't think it'll last that long, and that might be me trying to pinpoint that I'm right when it comes to the predictions, but Calgary is very slowly making me eat my words. I'm not really completely convinced that the offensive woes are slowly or directly related to Nick Arbuckle. I'm not convinced that Chad Kelly coming in next week if he's available, is going to fix that. I think they miss a high power block on the running back position that Kadeem Carey gave them. The fact is that I think Toronto's missing a lot more, and it might be chemistry. It might be another few weeks before they start getting their gear going. They say you got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky, and in Hamilton's case, you just got to be bad to keep on losing. Like, I give Saskatchewan's defense all the credit in this win, and I think their offense was just good enough to make it to a point where Hamilton, should they have gotten lucky in the last drive, it didn't matter. Keyshawn Johnson and Trevor Harris are shown to have that kind of chemistry where you can need to have that high-powered offense running when it hasn't been running for the majority of this game. And before we start ragging on Brett Lothar, yeah, he had a very bad game. Spoiler alert, he has had bad games before. He's a very streaky kicker. When he's on, he's on. And when he's bad, he's definitely bad. But when he's bad, it's early on in the season. He's had this penchant to doing this a few years ago. A lot of Rider fans calling for competition to be brought in, and I get it, but he's gotten past this before. And by October, November, you'll be singing his praises, sure enough.